Record is started. We are live. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm with my buddy Nathaniel. We have been, and I don't know if we've been together at the same time and stuff too, but we've been kind of following each other.
Yeah.
And like one of my other friends, Houston Buquet, says it's not really about like jealousy or like, oh man, I see Nathaniel, he's rising so much. It's more like animosity to where it's like, oh man, I want to be at the same level with Nathaniel, and not necessarily reaching that ideal, but just keeping up and knowing that you're around people that keep inspiring you to become better. So with no further ado, here goes Mr. Nathaniel for the second time.
Oh
We were,
yeah.
we were in different spaces before, but now I know he's killing it. And so I just wanted to share his journey thus far from the last time we spoke. And here we are.
I love you, man. I appreciate you, brother. I know that you say that I'm inspiring you. I feel the same way about you, man. Watching your
Okay.
journey and how you've, continued grinding and putting the practices into place and how you've grown over time just with the podcast as well, just
Well,
but
thank
with
you.
your, inside your business and doing the different things with different teams and such like stuff like that. It's just it's awesome to see. We're both growing.
Yes,
We're both
yes.
learning. Yeah, we're both pushing. Yeah.
Sweet, man. Sounds good. Yeah, man. Can you tell us, like, say, I know we spoke off camera about a little bit of, you were having a rough patch, but I've seen those, like, say, just watching you, and that's an inspiration. Can you share with everybody? I guess because I think it's almost been a year since we actually had a podcast, so that,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
pretty
it's
good.
pretty incredible.
Yeah,
Because you were on mine, I think. I don't know, episode 3 or something like that.
I
So
think so.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Now,
we switched back. Yeah.
now, where you at now? About 40,
50,
50?
53.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we just did 53 with Jada today. So yeah, we were. It's hard to exactly know where we were at. We were slowing down the wholesaling. It was it was a grind.
Right,
You know, especially from bringing Brittany, my wife, into the business.
right.
I was on the phones all day talking to sellers, talking to buyers, and she didn't really have a place that she fit into that. She
Okay.
doesn't want to be on the phone. That's not her strength. That's not her desire.
Right.
And it could be her strength if she wanted to, but she doesn't want to. So um, we kind of took a pause there from the wholesaling. We slowed that down, pretty stopped it, and started focusing on flipping.
Okay.
And with the intent of like, hey, this is something that Brittany, can kind of take a handle on.
Hmm.
She was a project manager at her previous job, and so kind of managing the project, managing the contractors, and the process from start to finish on a flip was pretty right in her wheelhouse.
Nice.
And she likes the designing and the going in and saying, oh, we could open up this wall, we could do these with the cabinets, like those types of things. But
Right.
we did a few we had already been doing some flips,
Okay.
but when we made this pivot, we did a few within a short period of time, like 3 or 4 months, and each one we did was we went through the process of acquiring this property. We went through the process of funding it through the hard money lender, and our own personal finances and private money lenders. We rehab this thing, and then we go and sell it. And while we made a pop of cash, which is great, it it wasn't getting us to our end goal, which is owning properties, owning real estate and growing a portfolio.
Got it.
So it was just kind of everyone. It felt like I was kind of beating a dead horse, so to speak. Like, I don't think we should sell this thing. I don't think. Yeah, but that's what we're doing. Okay, so we couldn't figure out how to do that, and at the end of last year, at the beginning of this year, we said we're not doing anything else. We're going to figure out how to buy and hold properties. And
Nice.
um, just like you have invested in your skill set and your mindset and things like that, both from a time perspective and from a money perspective, we were looking to do the same thing. And so we joined the Growth Co. with Jesse Stanton and company, and with the intent of learning how to put the pieces in place to build a buying machine.
Right. Nice. Nice.
Yeah. And so that's where we're at now. We're buying properties creatively all over the country, minus a few states. Use your imagination.
Right. Right.
California, New York, Illinois.
Certain
Um,
colors. Or
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. The really unfriendly landlord states essentially. But yeah,
Got it.
it's been going well. It's a new challenge, it's a new adventure, and it's been exciting.
Gotcha. Okay. Nathan, I know you said that now you're holding properties. Now with the holding properties, is are you still flipping it or just buying properties already potentially ready to just turnkey rentals?
We're doing some rehab. Tip it we've been kind of focused on the co-living at the moment. It's not the only place we want to be. We do like the midterm
Mhm.
rental space,
Right.
and we want to add some true vacation rentals as short-term rentals. Think Orlando, Miami, lakes, mountains, places like that. We
Right.
don't. We're not really interested in just having short-term rentals in Atlanta, for example, where they do all right, but like we want it to be somewhere where we want to go vacation and other people want to go vacation and really have an experience there.
Right.
Um, so to answer your question, yeah, we do rehab. Typically, the deals that we've gotten into so far are minimal, but it is adding walls and rooms to create more space for the co-living models.
Nice.
Like for example, I think one we just did, it was a four bed. We turned it into a six, but we needed to gain access to the master bathroom, and so we created a little hallway there so the other people living in the house have access to that master bathroom now. So it's
Got it.
just like, yeah, little minor things to make the most cohesive house.
Got it. Okay. And when you say co-living, I mean to me, I know I hear the craze of a pad split, and I know a couple of people that do it. And as far as when you say co-living, is that one of your strategies, or is that just one of many co-living?
Yeah, pad split is, for kind of an analogy or to equate the two, it's kind of the Airbnb of co-living, if
Oh,
that
okay.
makes sense. Like they're a marketing arm,
Mhm.
and if you're in a pad split primary market, like think Atlanta, these bigger markets, they market heavily there.
Yes.
If you're in a, I forget what they call it, tertiary, no, not tertiary.
Secondary. No.
Yeah, something. There's
Not
a
the main
term in
market,
pad
not
split.
the metro.
Yeah, not the pad split main market, like a non-main market. They do still advertise for your properties, but they don't like heavily market there. So
Makes
they're
sense.
essentially a place where when somebody is searching for rent by the room, pad
Mhm.
split's going to pop up, and
Okay.
so it is an avenue to get more eyes on your property. That being said, it's not our preferred strategy. Our
Got
preferred
it.
strategy is co-living. Think, next to colleges where students are at, young
Mhm.
professionals, people that are just getting out of school and wanting to go into the workforce, and
Right.
don't necessarily want or can't afford a house of
Right.
their own, right? So they just want to be able to go to work, come home, have the amenities of a house like a kitchen and pots and pans and all those things, and then
Right.
go to their room and play video games and Netflix and chill, right?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That that kind of reminds me, Nathaniel, when I was in the military, of just having, like I said, just college life kind of.
Yeah.
It's you have enough space, either you have a roommate, or if you're lucky enough to be on your own, have your private area, either share the bathrooms and share the kitchen area. Other than that, that's all you need. And but obviously you won't. As far as co-living, you don't have to worry about that drill sergeant coming in
Right. Yeah.
checking your dorms, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Field day once a week. It's funny you mentioned that because when I was in the Marine Corps, right, and
Nice.
we lived in the barracks, and it was two per room, and
Mm-hmm.
then every two rooms shared a bathroom, and
Yes.
pad split specifically says no more than four people per bathroom.
Right.
And to me, I think, man, four people sharing a bathroom seems like a lot, but hey, we did that. We did do that in the
Yeah.
military, so it's not that it's not that bad. And we were all on the same schedule too. Like a lot of
Right.
these people that are living together in a co-living, they're not, right.
Mhm.
When I was in the Marine Corps, like we all got to be at the same place at 6 o'clock, so we're all getting up at 5:57 to
Fi-
to
Fighting for
brush our
the
teeth.
hot water.
Yeah, exactly. That's funny.
Nice, nice, man. Yeah, bro. Like I said, it sounds impressive what you guys are doing, and obviously, I love the aspect of. I kind of ran into the same thing with my wife. It's I think, but unlike you, I think I burned my wife out of it.
Mm.
to where it is grueling. The cold calling part and the lead managing and the sometimes the way, depending on what type of leads we follow up with, the unfortunately the rudeness, because it is a very saturated
Mm.
area of cold calling, and also being that texting is so much harder. But I had her in there, she liked it, and then I think she just got overwhelmed to where um, I don't know if I can say this, but for certain people, she was going back and forth with them to where I would see her use her Google voice. I like, babe, don't worry about that though. It's not that serious. Like you eat my not in her mind, but it was going back and forth. Basically, like, babe, what are you doing? You know, you're not gonna win nothing out of it. They're just angry.
Yeah.
Whatever situation they're in, they're just don't fight evil with evil. I guess if
Yeah.
I can, if
Mm.
that makes sense. But
Yeah.
it got to her to where, so no, babe, you have all that real estate stuff. You have that Pace Morby. You can keep that Tony Robbins and let the light be the light and all that out there. You
Yeah.
just be normal, low you. And so
Yeah.
it's learning how to decipher that. And I'm pretty sure you're learning how to do that. But seeing that your wife is into it, I guess it makes it a little bit easier.
It has its challenges. You definitely don't want to burn. You don't want the business to affect the personal relationship, right?
Yes.
The wife, the husband wife thing is way more important than
Yes.
the co-worker thing.
True.
Um,
True.
Us working together definitely has its challenges. I have trouble sometimes letting things go, even though I trust her completely and I know
Yeah.
she's super capable. There's I think I've done a better job of it at this point
That's good.
as I'm growing as a leader and a co-worker. But the taking off of the business hat and being able to put on the husband and wife hat is sometimes a challenge because we're very focused on building out what we're building,
Right.
right? Creating these relationships with private money lenders and private money partners
Mhm.
that's what we want to talk about, right?
True.
And so, but you need to be able to go, okay, no, we're not talking about that now. We're going to talk about something else, right? We're going to talk
Right.
about something between the two of us, even if it's for just like 15 minutes a day,
Yes.
you know? And
True. True. True.
somebody mentioned I think it was just on a Zoom that I was on, just a one-on-one Zoom
Mhm.
that they have trouble taking the business hat off and then taking the parent hat off because
Yes.
then the next thing is right we want to talk about what's going on with the kids like okay no hold on because the kids are going to leave one day too and if
True.
we haven't been maintaining our relationship together
Facts.
and continuing to learn and grow together as a couple 18 years from now well it's going to be probably 20 years from now at this point because number three is coming in a month and a half.
Oh man, congrats,
Yeah,
man.
uh, we're going to be strangers.
Yes,
And so that's not what we want. And that's not what we need in our lives, right? We want to be as closer than ever in 20 years when we're empty nesters.
man, it's crazy you say that, Nathaniel. Because I remember, at my age, most of my friends are already parents. Their kids are already graduating high school, and some of them are even grandparents already. To
Yeah.
where it's like I wouldn't want to say it's a down thing, but where I'm at and where they're at, it's like I'm still having fun. I'm still doing cannonballs in the pool, but they're like it seems like they're like you're saying
Uh,
maybe it's going back to what you just mentioned about making it about the kids to where you forget about the couple,
mm,
and it is sometimes when the kids leave like what are we doing? There's nothing to live for per se because they're so into the kids and having them raised and obviously having kids themselves to where I'm over here like anybody want to talk about real estate? Anybody want to talk about growth mindset?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
get out of here, bro.
yeah,
And so, like, you alienate yourself, but like you're saying earlier, learning how to shut that off and make it about them. Hey
yeah.
man, how does it feel to have that graduate? Man, that's so cool. I mean, obviously, we both love God, and knowing that when people tell me Georgiana, kids, you're like, nah, unless I made I what do you call it? I made a mistake when I was in the military, but I don't have any now. So at today's time frame, I'll let God decide that if He decides to make that happen. But right now, I'm really concentrating on the stuff we're doing. It's just being interested, just learning to be a business owner, and knowing that at the end of the day, He meant us to have multiple streams of income. So
Mm,
it's learning how to monetize on one, make it to where it's self sufficient, then jump on the next one, and then obviously have multiple
yeah.
streams.
I love that, man. Yeah, that it's tough, especially when you're associating with people in your age group to not compare certain things, right?
Right.
But you may not realize that they're doing the same back to you,
True.
right? And for the things that you're seeing in them that you're like, man, it doesn't sound like it, but man, I wish I had kids. They're going, man, I wish I didn't have kids.
Yeah. They
you know,
want your life and you want their life, but
yeah, a little bit of the switcheroo kind of thing. But yeah, what is the compare and despair kind of a thing, right?
right.
It's something that I found, especially when I first joined Sub Two, was comparing myself to people that had joined after me, and like, man, he just did a Sub Two deal. What the heck? Why haven't I done one? And you because we're all going through different things, we're coming from different backgrounds, we're at different places right now, right?
Yeah.
And I have two kids, I have a third coming on the way. It would be completely unfair for me to compare myself to somebody that's, just grinding at this 12 hours a day and doesn't have
Yeah.
those other responsibilities,
True.
right? So you you can't do it because everybody's got their own things going on, right? And you see me on social media quite a bit now these days, right? That's only one aspect of what's going on,
True. True.
right? And especially from like the Instagram perspective, I don't see a lot of it because I'm really just following real estate people and
True.
the hey, I'm on a beach kind of people. Like, yeah, but
Right.
what are all the sadnesses, leading up to that? Yeah, so
Yeah, because I do hear that a lot, Nathaniel, from a couple of people that I interact with on a day to day that have. I heard that recently a lot though. Recently, hey George, I just stopped using Instagram because it was kind of like a what they call it, like depressing. It's like seeing other people, and it goes back to understanding what you were saying earlier. But off a book I just finished reading twice of the Gap and the Gain. It's
oh
like I want to be like Nathaniel, to where, like you were saying, well, I don't have two kids and one on the way. I'm on my own journey, so it's not about reaching that ideal. That ideal will never be reached. We will never be like Pace. We will never be like Jamil or all these people. They have their own path, but it's to be comfortable in that game. Like,
yeah,
wow, look how far I've gotten. I did leave the post office. I did do this. We're all both in the military. There's a lot of people, thank God, unfortunately, and they're not living to this day. So it's being appreciative of those small things that other people, well, we may take for granted, but it's being living in that game instead of that gap. Like, oh man, how come I'm not buying a bunch of property like Nathaniel all over the nation,
yeah,
or have an underwriter, or have this, but be appreciate that, or know that I can get there. If he's doing it, I can do it as well. And knowing that it's not a competition, because if Nathaniel's buying his property, let me just, hey, Nathaniel, tell me what you think about it. And I know you have an underwriter now, so I know you're not looking at it, but let me get your underwriter's email so I can kind of see and see what
yeah,
you think this deal will happen. And then obviously having that friendship where you can tell me like either this is why I don't want it, or it doesn't fit my buy box. But I may know somebody that wants to do it. And like, well, why don't we JV on it? To
yeah.
where at that point you're like, nah, I'm good, man, I'm good. But you go ahead. Here goes my connection, and that's the beauty about this network, or this mentorship, or this community. At the end of the day,
I love that you brought up the gap in the game because it's a very powerful book and it's
cool.
a powerful mindset in
Yes.
all facets of life,
Right.
right? Not just from a business standpoint, but from all the different things, right? Watching our kids grow, watching our relationship with our wife, parents, brothers, sisters, all those things change. Watching my health change as I'm working, putting in habits in place, right? Like,
Awesome, man.
yeah, like, oh, I want a six pack. I don't have a six pack yet. Yeah, but 3 months ago when you started on this journey to getting a six pack, what have you gained since then,
Yes.
right? And we've been listening to it on our road trips. We just put it,
Nice.
and like the kids now, 3.5 years old. When we ask, hey, what do you want to listen to? They go Gap and Gain, Gap and Gain. Like they
Yeah.
don't understand, but quite. But it's seeping in there a little bit.
Right.
And I told you it would come up, kind of organically, but I have this phrase that I say on my own podcast. I tell other people just on our Zooms is that I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm right where I'm supposed to be,
Boom.
right? And I'm right where God has put me at this very moment.
Yes.
And it like I can't get to where I want to go if I haven't taken the journey to get to where I am right now, and just being grateful for the opportunities that I have, the struggles that I have that I'm learning from, and being grateful for that 3 months ago I wasn't. I'm further along than I was 3 months ago, and
Yes.
that's what that's what the gain is all gap and gain is all about. It's like realizing, looking back, man, look at how much I've done,
Hmm.
and not looking like, oh man, I'm not where I want to be.
Right, right.
You know?
And also being appreciative of the other people you run into. It's like, obviously we're very connected through text messages and phone calls. It's just taking those couple of minutes. Hey, Nathaniel, man, you're kicking ass, bro. Good job.
I
I'm
appreciate
proud
it.
of you. And then like vice versa to her, like, oh man, thanks. And you want to pay it forward, and like, oh shoot, one of my friends, Joanna, I remember last year she was doing this, and she kind of had a setback, and she went back to work, and now this year she actually quit her job and she's doing it. She finally got her first deal. I'm like, come on, man, like, jump on the
Yeah.
podcast. So
Yeah.
you can be that inspiration for others, because there's so many, not only within the sub two community, there are people that are watching us wanting to do the things that we're doing, but realizing we were there before. So, but knowing that, hey, I'm here to help you. But then it goes into that stage where like, man, am I really helping to help you? Like, do you even want this help? And
Mm,
it's unfortunately learning that too, to where I can't help everybody. It's like a phrase I'm learning to say, like, I can take the horse to the trough, but it's up to the horse if they want to drink the water.
yeah.
And then at the end of the day, it is a business, so it's learning to get that done.
I love that. That's a quote that is not used enough, right? Yeah.
Right. Like,
You
come
can lead
on.
the horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
looking at you like,
Yeah. What the heck are you doing, man? Like we did a let's get a deal Zoom.
okay.
That's what we called it, and it was designed to help people get their first deal. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to lay out the blueprint of how
Nice.
to do it, and I'm going to make it as simple as possible
Mm-hmm.
for you. And we had, I forget exactly what the numbers are, but we had 100 people register, 50
Wow.
people showed up to the Zoom, 20 of the people took the next action step, was
Okay.
which was literally just sending us an email saying I wanted the tools that you showed.
Right.
0 people took action.
Wow.
You're like, that's it. I can show you the water, but I can't make you drink from the water, because
Right.
it's ultimately up to you to drink from the water. And
And
you might be familiar with Amber McCollum.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, she's amazing, and she has this quote where she says, "Nobody's going to save you. It's up to you to save yourself."
True,
Right?
true.
Other than, um,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Right on.
that's not what she was talking about. But yeah, here on the earth, like if you want a goal, you got to go get it. Like
Right.
there is no get rich quick scheme. There is nobody that's gonna take you to your goal. Like
Right.
I can show you how to get there, but you got to walk the walk.
You got to, yeah, just that's why well, I guess I'll say I like this how Joel Osteen said that, I know how God is not a female, because normally if you're married, your wife is very detail orientated. All right, babe, we're going to take a trip. We're going to wake up at this time. We're going to take this destination. We're going to do like, yes, honey. But then when it comes to God, you're like, oh God, can you show me how to be successful? Like, I'm not gonna tell you.
Yeah,
Just take
yeah.
the path forward. So boom, that's how we know God's not a woman.
That's
But
funny.
that's just a joke that he says, and obviously he
Yeah,
says it better than me. But
yeah,
yeah, obviously it's being able to have that, whether it's God or just having that, like that destination, that faith that wakes you up every morning and appreciates life, to where, like, yeah, just appreciating life, and obviously knowing that it's not about the money, it's about the journey, because normally money, from what I'm learning, it just magnifies what's inside. Like if you're broke eating a sandwich, you're happy. If you're rich, you're eating lobster and shrimp, you should still be
exactly.
happy.
Yeah,
But
that's
going
funny.
back to the family part, is you're doing it obviously for the family, but learning how to spend time with the family as well. And that's something I think we can share,
Yeah,
that we struggle with, I think, especially with you, you're the big family man, and having number three on the way, which is
yeah.
a blessing, of course.
It's stressing me out.
Full of my hair.
Yes, yeah. I, I am. I know that it's gonna be like going from 0 to 1 is a really big change, right?
Hmm.
Going from 1 to 2, not, there was changes, right? But I think going from 2 to 3 is I'm concerned. I think we're gonna do great, right? But I know that like there's gonna be big changes that happen.
True.
and we're coming up on it. It's like 30, 40 days away at this point.
Oh wow, that fast,
So,
man! Congratulations,
yeah,
man.
thank
How
you.
many? What would be the age gap? Once the third one.
We will have a three, just like 3 3/4.
Mm-hmm.
Our second will be turning two very, very shortly.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna have three under four. It's just gonna be absolute mayhem.
Wow. Well, and like you're saying, the good thing in about 20 years, if the cars are right and God decides, you'll have all of them whoop, out the way to where
Yeah,
hopefully not any more Netflix and chill, whatever you guys do when
yeah.
you're chilling. Don't create three more.
No,
But
heck no. All right, I'm hoping for like a nice little 3 on 3 squad or something.
mhm,
Like yeah, no.
there you go.
It'll be like the what's the I forget what the brothers were, the Ball brothers. I don't know if you're familiar with basketball.
Mhm.
This is going back. They
Oh yeah, the
were
Ball Brothers. Yeah,
yeah, they
they
were in high
all
school
eventually
and like
joined.
dominated high school. Like that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, they're
Cool,
gonna
cool.
go their separate ways. They're gonna do what they want to do.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
And one more thing I did notice, Nathaniel, before we get off, and I know we gotta get to Nanny here in a little bit, but
Yeah.
the private money I noticed where I'm at, I'm kind of like in the middle, where I think I explained a little bit before that we started the video, where I know what I'm doing, but now it's learning how to be consistent at it,
Mm.
to where it is, yeah, I got a deal, but 2 or 3 months I don't got no deal. So luckily that last deal kind of has me. I like to call it like this, like have my water like that. It's not too high, but it's right there. But
Yeah.
learning how to make it consistent, but knowing that I can't do it by myself. I can only go so far.
Hmm.
And so I realize now one of my partners, like George, I'm getting tired of borrowing hard money. What we need to do is get private money. But now I'm also learning it's not only the private money lending, but now there are opportunities to be private money partners. So obviously what we're doing, and obviously I gotta catch up to you on the social media,
Mm.
it is getting people to see what you're doing. And obviously that cute little smile we have, it only gets us so far, but it's actually, proving the numbers and showing how your money can work within real estate. So, with that said, would you have any tips for anybody, either myself or somebody who would be interested in having a chunk load of money somewhere and say, hmm, let me throw it into Nathaniel's next project, or
Right.
however your strategy is as far as borrowing money?
Yeah, like the the connections that we're making with especially private money partnerships, we're seeing that there are a lot of benefits to the partnership side of things.
Hmm.
I've something that I've been struggling with, and I'll kind of roundabout to this answer. Something that I've been struggling a little bit with since we left wholesaling
Okay.
was serving people.
Oh,
I don't, we're buying houses. We're kind of roundabout serving the seller a little bit, but indirectly through a wholesaler. Yeah, I'm serving the wholesaler by giving them a paycheck. They can keep food on their table and all those things. I am serving a need in the marketplace as far as co-living. These people need affordable housing. They need to be able to rent by the room,
true.
but I'm not touching really any of those people.
True.
So from the partnership perspective, I do feel like I'm helping investors out who want to own properties, who have money sitting in the bank that are earning little to no returns,
Right.
that don't know how to buy the property and need kind of the education. So
Mhm.
we're able to create these partnerships where we're opening up the curtains and letting them see kind of behind the scenes of the process of how we buy properties and go from talking to a wholesaler to property manager in place and think that this thing's rented out. So what I'm doing, and I think that you would be great at it because you're used to talking to sellers and kind of figuring out what's going on underneath. Is
Right.
when I connect with these people, it's what are your goals, right? Where are you at right now? Where are you looking to get to in 3, 6, 12, 18, months?
Right.
And what hurdles are you struggling, like what are you seeing as roadblocks and things like that you need to overcome? And then it's really figuring out, like, once we know, oh hey, I want to buy properties, I want to buy cash flowing assets, like, okay, are there any asset classes that you're interested in, right? Are there any hold strategies that you're interested in? Because there's a handful of different things that you can do once you purchase a property, from long term, mid term, short term rentals. You could do co living, right? You could do lease options and wraps and all these different things. Are there things that you like? Are there things that you don't like? And then are there states, cities that you like that you don't like? That way, when
Right.
when I get a deal in, and I know that George really likes Texas, but the deal's in Wyoming, like I'm not bringing it to George,
For real.
right? Because and then just learning about the other person, how like what do they like to communicate? Do they like email, text, phone
Hmm.
calls? Would they prefer Zooms? Okay, now that I have that down, how often do you want to communicate? Do you want me to be updating you daily? I hope
Right.
but right, is it a weekly update? Is it monthly? Like,
Right.
okay, now what do you want to see in those updates? It's just tailoring yourself and what you're doing to the specific person, and making sure that you're meeting their needs. These like we're asking on average $70,000 from these people
Right.
to bring to a deal. That's a lot of money for 99% of people, right? This is
Yes.
their nest egg. And so
True.
if I'm not serving them and serving their needs to the best of my ability, I'm failing as a borrower and operator. That's
Mhm.
kind of the short of it. So I
Okay.
hope that answers your question.
It does. It obviously it just goes back to the original statement. Like I said, make it. This is a people business.
Hmm.
Obviously, it's you putting using social media to kind of show what you're doing, not necessarily to flaunt or have vanities. Like, look, guys, I'm out here door knocking. Look, guys, I'm out here trying to figure out this tire render's lifestyle. He wants to retire, and because I can't give him cash offer, he's willing to give this to me as seller finance because this is going to be kind of like his retirement. We're giving him nice chunk in the beginning, and we're gonna give him payments. But with your money, I can bring this in so I can supply that big chunk in the beginning, and then be able to squeeze the numbers in with Nathaniel's underwriter to where this amount is going to the original seller, this amount is going back to you, and my goal is either we can do this long term, or I can buy you out in a matter of 6 months or a year, unless you like the returns that you're getting as well. So
Yeah.
that's just one example, but showing it out there and like seeing the proof of it, and obviously getting down and dirty, like say just talking numbers, seeing if it makes sense, and obviously accommodating that person to where they feel secure throughout the whole process.
Yeah. I love that you brought up I'm not posting about these deals and things because I want to flaunt. Or I want,
Right.
I'm trying to show what opportunities are happening and what opportunities we're getting and how you can be a part of them and how you can reap the rewards and benefits of that as well. When
Yes.
when I was first getting started on the posting side, and one reason that I didn't start sooner is that you're like, well, what value do I have? I'm not doing any deals. How am I supposed to talk about the deals? And then you start doing deals, and now it's like, well, I don't want to be seen as gloating or things like that,
Yes.
right? What are my family and friends going to think of me putting out that I'm making $1,500 a month from this property, and I'm also creating these benefits for these other people, and they're making $1,500 a month from this property. What are they going to think? And you just kind of got to get over that, because there are,
Yes.
like you mentioned earlier, like there are people out there that are watching. There are people out there that are interested in getting into these deals. They just don't know how. They just they need somebody to kind of help them and show them the way. And if I'm not the one that's showing them the way, somebody else is going to show them the way. And when it
Right.
comes time for them to be ready to jump into it, they're going to go do the deal with that other person.
True.
And so I want to be the one that's front and center and top of mind, to so when they're ready and they're confident in me and we've made a connection, like we're ready to go.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. Nathan, one more thing before I say I like the what you said. If you're not the person, they're gonna go to somebody else, and that reminds me when it comes to following up.
Yeah.
And my partner Jonathan, he says the squeaky wheel gets the most grease.
Yep.
So it's like following. Don't be scared to ask. Obviously, there's a way to it. Obviously, it's a method, and that could be another podcast for another day. But it is being able, like, what's that squeaking come from? Hey, how you doing? I
Yeah.
have an
Is George
opportunity
again?
for you,
Yeah.
or this offer is still available.
Yep.
Then get that grease and make it happen. And with that said, man, I appreciate it. I know maybe I'm cutting it short because obviously I want to respect the nanny time, but
Yeah. Oh, we're
for
good.
for the people out there, obviously we know that you're buying. For anybody listening, where are they looking for? And if they find that Obviously not Wyoming because I know I don't want it. But what are the states or what are the areas you're looking for that you potentially have your underwriter take a deeper look into for your own properties you're trying to acquire this year?
Yeah, it's easier to say we're not, because we're like I mentioned, like we're not interested in, at least for now, in California, Oregon, Washington, Illinois, New York. Those are the places that we're not really interested in
Okay.
until they change the landlord rules around that. It's something we've dealt with squatters in our house, in our flip properties
Right.
before, and here, like in Georgia, it's pretty easy to get a squatter out of the house,
Nice.
right? And in a place like California, that stuff terrifies me because, like I
Does.
mentioned, like I'm asking people to bring their nest egg into a deal,
True.
and if a squatter is gonna mess that up, like nope, I'm not. That's not a risk that I'm willing to take, and that's not a risk that I'm willing to put a an equity partner into.
Yes.
So those are the states that I would stay away from. If you have deals in any other states, as long as they're creative, and long as they break even,
Hmm.
so the whatever the total monthly expenses are, PITI, are covered by income, long-term rental income with a property manager in place, which is typically like 10%.
Right.
Interested in looking at it and underwriting it for co-living, a midterm, and a short-term rental, you can send those to Joanna, Joanna, at theexperthomebuyers.com.
Hmm.
I think you have that if you want to put it in the show notes. Yeah.
I will
Um,
do that. I will
yeah,
do that for
I,
the people.
I on top of buying creative deals, I want to help as many people as I can lock up deals. If they want to buy properties, I want to help them buy properties. I do have some resources at nathanielhovsepian.com that you can go there and you can come to I have a weekly Zoom called Helping Hands Hour. It's live on Thursdays at noon Eastern time. It's just there for coming in and getting unstuck in your business. If you're just getting
Mhm.
started, I'd love to help you out. If you're at a deal a month and you're like, how do I get to three? Let's talk about that. It's probably systems and processes, kind of some kinds of things. So that's what that's there for. If you're interested in lending on deals, there's a place for you there as well.
Ooh.
It's new. It's something that I created
Mhm.
myself. I There are things that I want to do to it, but right now it is serving a very specific purpose. If you want to connect with me on social medias, all my socials are on there. I'm only on a few. I don't do the ticky tacky. Um,
Right, right. I barely, I forget. I make fun of it because before real estate, I was into more fitness. So my
okay.
little tag name was Mr. Mind and Body. And so now I still kind of put like real estate stuff on it, but like, I don't really mess with it. But mainly it's Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
Obviously, Facebook for the sub two
Yeah.
community, and also to list market. I mean, properties that we possibly have under contract. But
Heck yeah.
again, Nathaniel, thank you for your time. And like I said, I love seeing your growth. And obviously, this time next year, we're going to be a little bit further than we were the year before. And it's learning about not measuring where you want to be, but measuring from where you come from and just connecting the dots. Like in a good book, we
Yep.
just talked about the gap in the game.
Yep. I love you, brother.
Cool,
Appreciate you.
cool. I appreciate you.